Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to search up really quick a random word generator. Random word generator. This is the one it came up with. randomwordgenerator.com. And now I am generating. So I'm going to change the options. It came up with one straight away, but that's not what I want. I want to change the options, and I want to see word type nouns. Click nouns, and then I'm going to click generate, and it should have come up with one now, and that is engine. Okay, let's talk about engines. All right, so my opinion on engines. Engines are very cool. Pretty cool invention. So an engine, let's define first what an engine is. An engine is something that drives something out. So it's basically a motor, right? And it can run on electricity, or it can, an engine would an engine run with electricity? No, I think an engine can produce electricity. No, an engine runs with fuels, right? Like petrol or diesel, just the same. Or hydrogen, maybe. You can have a hydrogen engine, I think. Maybe. Oh man, now I'm a bit blank. But yeah, so an engine is basically something. It's a machine that uses fuel and energy from burning a fuel. So the combustion creates pressure, and that with that pressure you can turn a shaft, start move something, and with that movement you can run either a car, or you have a shaft that runs, or you can generate electricity with that movement as well, with either a generator or electricity, mostly with a generator, right? So you've got, basically you're running magnets, and you're running the shaft past magnets, and that's inducing a current. So I don't know that much about combustion engines. I'm not a motor mechanic or anything. I know a little bit. However, I've got some opinions on engines. So engines are great because you can actually generate power with them, which is very good. But you shouldn't, I think you shouldn't run engines on a local scale. So you shouldn't run like 10 engines at home, or you should probably not run an engine in your car, because it's not very efficient to burn fuel and then use the energy to run a car, because you're losing a lot of energy, which is mostly heat. So in a car, you don't have very much efficiency. I'm not sure how efficient cars the efficiency of a car engine is, but the actual motion energy that you get from a car engine, I think is about it's below 40% of the energy that you put in that you get actually for useful motion, and the rest just disappears with heat, goes out the exhaust pipe. So I'm not a fan of using engines for that. I'm a fan of using engines if you have, for example, biofuels, which, or if you have exhaust gases that you can still, then reuse. So just make it a lot more efficient. Otherwise, I'm more a fan of electric motors and generators that are run by renewable energies. So, for example, you can have a water turbine that runs from a hydro dam, and you put the turbine in the dam, and then let water run through, and that spins the turbine, and you can generate electricity with that. But yeah, obviously you still need combustion engines for a lot of things. Like for now, we need them for bigger planes, for bigger vehicles, ships. They are moving towards battery operated, so they are moving in that direction, which I'm a fan of, because you don't have the when burning oil and gas, you always have the exhaust, which is not good for the environment where you run the machine, and then because you've got the exhausts, and which will also produces a lot of, well, it doesn't produce the carbon dioxide, but it emits a lot of carbon dioxide on site. And usually when you have things on site, like an engine in a vehicle, then you have a lot of losses again. So it is much more efficient to run with batteries. Unfortunately, with a lot of big vehicles, that's not very efficient yet to run it with, it is efficient, but it is not very feasible because batteries are too expensive. Too heavy. And yeah, they're also quite expensive, but the cost is already low enough, so it would be worth it. But they are actually too heavy for a lot of things. So for cars, it just became pretty feasible to use batteries because the capacity got better. The everything around the battery technology got better. So they are safe. They are cheap enough to make now, and they last quite long. There are some cars that drive 1 million kilometers on one battery, and that's amazing. So yeah, and then the next thing is bigger vehicles, right? You just need bigger batteries, and you need higher power output, which they can do now. They can generate a lot of power with batteries, and it was just a matter of heat management, because when you use a lot of power with the battery, it's hard to manage heat. But now they got there. They actually got there. You can run batteries in a truck, in small airplanes, big ones not yet, because batteries are just too heavy, and so the planes wouldn't be flying very far. They would be flying a few minutes, and that's it. With small planes, there are some small planes that can fly for an hour on a battery, or maybe, I think about an hour at the moment. And there are some planes for flight with 4 passengers. And then you also have the vertical takeoff and landing vehicles that also run on batteries. And the technology just gets better and better. And, in a few years, there'll be planes that, say, carry 8 to 16 people, and they run on batteries, and the range will get better as well. So we will have emissionless flight. So, and you can generate, obviously, that electricity you can generate with renewable energies. You don't have to burn fuels for that either. So it's a win-win for that. So yeah, I am a fan of engines in the regard that they actually allowed us to do a lot of things, farming especially, or also just normal transport, and shipping. Without engines, we wouldn't have, gotten very far. There was the steam engine, which is also very cool. But yeah, again, you need to produce a lot of heat to get that steam going, and with that steam you can run something. But how do you generate that heat with, they were burning coal mostly for steam engine in the early days, and so that's why steam engines are not a thing anymore. We'll go a lot more towards using renewables that produce electricity everywhere, not just centrally somewhere in a power plant, but also on people's roofs, which is great. And that'll allow us to have these smart grids. If there's some sort of some sort of failure somewhere, like some solar panels don't work on someone's house, all the other houses still work. So that'll be fine. And then overnight we have some others. We have wind, we have still hydropower quite a bit. And there maybe be some backup, and maybe nuclear power as well, which gets safer and safer and better, more efficient. It is already very efficient, nuclear power, but it gets especially safer. And so we'll have a mix of all these. I would say nuclear is a renewable power because you're not burning fossil fuels. And so that's part of the mix that we're going to have in the future. There's not going to be much fossil fuel burning anymore, which is great. So yeah, that's the video for today. Just a bit of rambling from me. That was actually an easy one for that. So we might get a harder random word next time. All right.